I'm not sure how we'll get in there. See the bird? She had her neck stretched up highly a moment ago, so now she doesn't. It's not as identifiable as a purple heron, but she had that very tall, erect neck carrying her little head. She's right there in the center of the screen, perched on the corner of the stone. But you're familiar with them already. Sorry about that. I tried to catch that bus for you. There we're getting a little color. This was very intense cloud. So I didn't know if I should keep you waiting or allow us to see more of the sunrise as it appears. By the way, 2 notes. One, I made a mistake yesterday, but I think it had some good blessings involved. I talked about heart cakes, and when I was posting the Instagram post, I usually find the hashtags there, and then I copy them into the Facebook post afterwards. And I found so many hashtags for heart cakes, and I just put in a selection of them. And then I realized when I was reading the Gospel at Mass early yesterday for our Sunday outing, then I realized it wasn't a heart cake, it was a hearth, Hearth cake. So obviously a hearth is carrying all that fire, that warmth of the hearth, fresh hot cake straight from the hearth. Which obviously is another little level of difficulty in the desert to provide. So maybe there's more heart in a hearth cake. And if we want to confuse those who learned English, a heart without the E, H-A-R-T, is also a word for a deer. So you have a heart and a heart and a hearth. And up here I've met quite a few cows already on the way this morning, and here there's some more. They're gleaning some edibles from among the stones. Maybe we can just walk up there gently. And see what they think. Get you a little closer here to these beloved cows. How's the sky doing here? So the gospel scene today is over in Capernaum. Which is right across from us. Basically in the center of the screen now. It's too hazy to make more detail, although I can see the little white church of the Greek Orthodox in Capernaum. Beautiful little church. And the hills of Lebanon. I just read a story the other day about Lebanon where a girl got a scorpion, or no, not a scorpion, some type of a little bite. That's not really a big deal in other countries. They needed medical help right away, but they didn't have the medication for her in the clinics because of the extreme poverty and dysfunctionality in Lebanon right now. And she died from a very simple thing that could easily be fixed in any semi-developed country. And to country with such great treasure, natural treasure and history and culture, that is in the throes of great chaos. So we should pray. I always see the mountains of Lebanon every day and pray a lot for all the good people up there. So if we move up slowly there, the cows won't be startled. They won't mind you getting closer. There's a path along here. Let's go this way for a while. And the remains of an electric pylon of wooden format. And then those big ones were installed. So how many years ago was that? Who knows? And here's this piece still here. Some people call these egrets, but we learned that they were cattle heron, at least on an official listing I saw, of a very learned man. And if you think this is a piece of archaeology, well, it could be eventually, but it's probably a piece of one of those cable holders on those wooden posts. When it fell, it broke. You have two of them right there. Look at all that cloud. It's just a sign it's going to be pretty hot here today. These are not clouds of rain. They're clouds of heat, or indicators. I'm not sure how the physical process happens, but there they are. Amazing that the cattle come here in this such a rocky place. But we have a saying in Ireland that the sweetest bit of grass is that anear the stone, and the sweetest bit of meat is that anear the bone. Maybe because of all the work it takes to get it out, but actually there's another chemical reason, that the substance of the stone or the bone changes the nature of the grass or the meat, which seems very logical. So we just call this our spot today. If I find a rock, I want a little rock to put down the camera for you. Or maybe here in this stump. Oh, here was the electric line before, look. So let's see, I can stand it here inside the stump. There we go. Because I want to read a little bit from the readings are very beautiful. We're now with the book of Deuteronomy, the last instructions before entering into the promised land. And it's really the whole heart working of the covenant. To remember to love and serve the Lord your God, who did so much for you, to serve him with all your heart and all your soul, and keep the commandments and statutes of the Lord. Think, the heavens, even the highest heavens, belong to the Lord your God, as well as the earth and everything in it. The heavens and the highest heavens. way of addressing all the realities, the earth and everything in it belong to the Lord. Even one of Paul's commentaries says, we belong to the Lord. Whether we live or whether we die, we belong to the Lord. And this is language that is forged for generations. And language is an expression of an experience forged for generations. And we could say now for millennia. The heavens, even the highest heavens, belong to the Lord. And the moon and the sun are just in our neighborhood, so the highest heavens, in our science today, the expanse of the universe, and obviously way above the universe, that's not, what's not material. Yet in his love for you, your fathers, the Lord was so attached to you as to choose you, so attached to the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, as to choose you, their descendants. Circumcise your hearts. That's a line the prophets use, because it's not enough to do the externals in religious practice. Externals don't cut it. They're important. They're an important expression. They kind of crystallize our commitments. So maybe this is a good moment just to think about the externals I do religiously. For some folks and some religions, it's about dress. It's about maybe some diet. It's about some behaviors. It sometimes can be very formal, just formalities. Toss a few coppers in the basket. Don't mention silver or gold. Fill the expedient. But to love God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength. You remember that widow at the temple giving her offering, and she had put in much more than the bountiful gifts of the wealthy, because it was with all her heart and all her soul and all her strength. Hold fast to God. And then this command to swear by his name. And Jesus would even go on to say, just be truthful, be transparent. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. And the use of that formula to swear by God and not to tell the truth, that terrible contradiction that can happen in trivial conversation, truly trivial, or in formal situations of government and justice. So even there in Deuteronomy we see a religious desire of the heart, a religious commitment of the heart. Sometimes people contrapose the New and the Old Testament and say the New Testament is of the heart and the other is of commandments, but actually, if that's the text in Deuteronomy, and Deuteronomy tells the story of Moses passing and his burial. So, and with different scholarship, obviously there have been influences in the writing of Deuteronomy long after Moses. But still we're talking about 2,500 years at least. This text is at least that old. This idea, this concept. And even older probably because of the prophets. The prophets of the exile are very strong on turning the heart to God. Praise the Lord, Jerusalem. That's our psalm. I just love the gospel passage today. It's so amazing. It's a special story over at Capernaum. And there are people around like watching Jesus and his behavior, trying to judge him obviously, and condemn him because they're superior in their minds. And they find fault about paying the temple tax and accuse Peter, oh, why doesn't your master and you guys, why don't you pay the temple tax? And so Peter finds himself caught by surprise, and he answers expediently, oh yeah, he does. So there's an awful lot of interesting little nuances in the next few lines. There's a whole lot of layers, okay? Let's just look at that for a second. When Peter came into the house before he had time to speak, that detail is important. Jesus asked him, what is your opinion, Simon? From whom do the kings of the earth take tolls or census tax? From their subjects or from foreigners? And Jesus referred to the exemption of the subjects. I heard recently that in Switzerland, all the foreigners pay tolls on the freeways because it's a very trafficked country, the connection between especially Germany and Italy, or France and Italy. So all that traffic, international traffic, pay tolls, but the local traffic doesn't. Of course. And if you work in a business and an airline, you get very cheap tickets, of course. This is part of the perks of being in that company. And it's very interesting when Jesus says this, because it means he's claiming that Deuteronomy text, the Lord's is the earth and everything in it, and the sky and the heavens. So he's the last one that would need to pay taxes. He's collecting the taxes. And then he says, Peter, go out and catch a fish, and you'll find in its mouth a coin to pay for you and for me. No, for me and for you, and for you. So he allows Peter to be covered by him. There's so many details here, so many details of process of education of Peter that Jesus is doing. Wouldn't that be lovely if we let Jesus educate us as we live in the ordinary circumstances of life and bond us to him in that teaching, in that connection with him, and also participate in our identity in the universe. That our Lord is King of the universe. He doesn't pay taxes. And yet he comes and serves everyone. This is a kingdom of love. It's a kingdom of total goodness. Even though we go through very cloudy moments, dark moments, there's so much goodness. So much to be thankful for. Such a big mission to accomplish as we go about our daily work, the daily chores. Even if our abilities are being reduced and we can just make the tea and butter the scones that we ourselves need, the Lord is the earth and the heavens and all above the heavens, and we're in his company. And he loves us immensely. And we should live with that heart. And there comes the sun. And I'm going to hang up because it's almost 20 minutes. It is 20 minutes. See you later, alligators. God bless you. Here we are up here with all these wonderful cows and birds and beautiful view.